Hi everyone, and welcome to another tablet review. Today I have the Gaomon M106K tablet, and this goes for about 66 bucks on Amazon. I want to go ahead and thank Gaomon so much for sending me this tablet to review, and let's get on with this. So first I have a little unboxing for you, and you can see some of the specs on the box, but I'll get into those later. So first thing out of the box is the tablet itself, and then we have a rechargeable tablet pen. And inside of a cute little gray felt bag, we have 4 replacement nibs and a nib remover. We also have a card with the URL to the download for the driver, and the quick start guide. A micro USB to USB cable, a recharging cable for the pen that has a USB end on that. Not included in the box, they did send me a tablet glove as well. And it actually mostly fits my hand. I'm amazed. I have such tiny hands, so I was really impressed by that and happy. So about the tablet itself. It is 14 inches by 9 inches in total, with an active area of 10 inches by 6.25 inches. That makes this one of the largest tablets I have ever used that didn't have a screen on it. And that was kind of disorientating for me, but I quickly got used to it. So along the side we have 12 express keys, and along the top there are actually 16 function buttons that can all be set in the driver. The tablet also has 2048 levels of pressure, with 5080 lines per inch, and a 10mm reading height. And like I mentioned earlier, the pen is rechargeable with 2 customizable buttons. And Gaomon says, with a full charge, the pen should last 350 hours. And just to let you know, there's a red light in the middle of the buttons while it's charging, and whenever it's fully charged, that light goes off. And finally, the tablet is compatible with Windows 7, 8, 8.1, 10, and macOS 10.10 or later. On to installing the driver. First, go to gaomon.net/download, choose the tablet and your OS from the dropdowns, and download the corresponding driver. And make sure you've uninstalled all of their tablets before attempting to install to prevent driver conflicts. And after it's been installed, it doesn't say it needs to restart, but I suggest doing so if the pen doesn't respond. And by the way, you will have to open the program that it put on your desktop in order to make the tablet function, so make sure you keep that program handy on your taskbar or your desktop or somewhere you can find it easily. And now that we're through with that, I'm going to give you a couple of my thoughts about this tablet. So the pros being, this tablet has a ton of customizable buttons and keys everywhere. I kind of lost track of where everything was because I'm not used to having so many, but it's great for somebody who doesn't want to sit with a keyboard near them while drawing. And the driver is easy to navigate and customize. Actually, it's extremely similar to Huion's latest drivers. And just a note here, make sure you don't have multiple boxes checked whenever you are customizing your keys, or some funny things will happen whenever you use the buttons. Besides that, the pen feels nice in the hand. It's weighted quite well in my opinion. That means it has a heavy tip and it's really light on the back. And I didn't notice any line jitters when drawing in Sci or Photoshop when testing without any stabilization, so that's good. And on to the cons. So I'm gonna be honest, I have found a handful of things that bugged me about this tablet. First of all, the pen is rechargeable, which is something I never enjoy, but on this specific pen, the charging port seems to be off-center, making the charging adapter bend when inserted. This kind of cheap construction may not last very long, especially if you're rough with it. And the pen has a loose-feeling nib, something I've come to notice with a lot of budget tablets. Doesn't mean that the nib's gonna fall out, but it just doesn't feel very sturdy. Also, when using the pen buttons, I noticed it caused a second of lag pretty often. Maybe it's the driver, maybe it's the pen, but since I use the pen buttons to undo and redo, I'm constantly pressing them while drawing, and it would break up my workflow as I had to wait for a second for the pen to wake back up. Speaking of waking the pen up, if you happen to click off of the drawing program and try to go back to drawing, the first line you make is always going to be stuck or have no pressure sensitivity. This happened to me in both Sci and Photoshop. And the last thing about the pressure sensitivity. It works, but not well. In the driver, you have the option to set the pressure to 5 different levels of firmness, the center being the default. I prefer a very light touch so that I can use the smallest lines when drawing without changing the brush size. But this tablet seems to cut off the light touches, even with the pressure changed to the lightest possible. This causes some weird tapering and makes those options unusable to me. I had to leave it at default just to make the most natural looking lines. And last, the driver doesn't auto-start whenever you turn on your computer. But while I originally thought this was a bad thing, I realized it's because the driver itself has a lot of conflicts with other programs, most specifically full-screen video games. The driver causes anything that is full screen to minimize about every 5 to 10 minutes. It's rather relentless about it too. As annoying as it was, you can go to the taskbar and close the Gaomon driver program, and this fixes the issue. So maybe it's best that the driver is only on whenever you need it. And just a few other thoughts. Since I experienced some issues in the driver when trying to customize the pressure sensitivity, I felt like I couldn't get the level of detail that I normally like to have in my art, and I felt like I was much more sketchy with it because I really just couldn't get my line weight correct. And that could just be, it's something I'd have to get used to if I wanted to continue using this tablet. A feature on this tablet that I didn't get any use out of are the function buttons at the top of the tablet. You have to actually look at them to see what you're touching because there's no way to differentiate between the button that you're pressing other than to look down. And whenever I'm using something that doesn't have a screen on it, the last thing I want to do is look down at it, because it kind of breaks the immersion of your hand-to-eye coordination with your monitor. Sounds weird, but that's how I've always felt whenever I'm using a tablet without a screen. So all 16 of those keys are useless to me. All that being said, the tablet does work. Maybe, in my opinion, not so great, but for somebody who's looking for a large surface area without spending a lot of money, this would work. Just know that there are issues, because I'm not sure if these issues are just driver-based, which mean they could be fixed, but guys, I'm always honest with you. This is not my favorite tablet. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, got some insight on if you want to buy this tablet or not. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys later.